Alright, here we go with another match. This is an interesting hand. It's got no Lords, no Vial, no Silver Gills, which are sort of the main ones, but I still think it's keepable. We have a 1-drop, an okay 2-drop, but a couple good 3-drops, so a lot of good draws, a lot of things we can make happen here, especially if our opponent's on a Monastery Swiftspear on turn 1 or a Goblin Guide. Okay. Good, that actually, it means, well, I say good. We'll at least have a target for the Harbinger. Being on the play against the red deck, or on the draw against the red deck, can be fairly bad. I actually think the burn is a plus matchup for Merfolk, though not by much. It's not more than 60-40, I would say that. But I feel pretty good after I get a sideboard in Tidebinders, and we have Harbingers as well. Although this is a very aggressive start from our opponent right here. Like I say, you can, no matter how good you think the matchup is, and it's, like I said, not better than 60-40, probably like 55-45. This is the kind of start that can kill you. At least he didn't have the bolt. Oh, I see. Okay. Interesting. This is the deck. Okay. This has been making the rounds recently. It's got a lot of damage on board. I'm tempted to Spreading Seas to try to slow it down. I mean, I want to Harbinger this, not these. Spreading Seas does not put anything onto our board, though. Maybe it's better to just do this and then attempt to trade or something. This is going to be rough regardless. I mean, the goal is to get to the Master of Waves. I feel like we have to cast Master of Waves on turn 4 to win, which means we need the 4th land drop, which means maybe I'm better off Spreading Seasing him now. And that way I'll get the draw, because if I Harbinger here, I'm casting Readery next turn, I'm not going to be Spreading Seasing. That would make this a 3-3. Okay, I'm just going to go with the Harbinger. I don't know about this, but hopefully it ties his mana up a little. He's only got 2 cards in hand, so that's good for us. I mean, I do want to Harbinger this thing down, of course, but I think we just have to put the body on the board here. I guess I'll try to block it, at least make him burn the spell. Just putting bodies in front of this when we have the long-term game plan and Master of Waves, I think is a good plan. If we put a Curse Catcher here, he has to cast something. And it'll even be, if he plays a Swiftspear first, it'll even be something we can counter. I mean, we still take 4 that way. But I think it's our best option. We burn a card from his hand. I could put both of these here. I could put this one here, this one here. If he casts something to pump it, oh, he gets it. He gets to do it anyways. Countering it doesn't matter. But it would ensure a trade here. We'd only take like 3 or 4 or something, depending on what it is. But we can make sure it doesn't resolve here so we can actually get this off the board. I'm okay with this. Not positive this is correct, but I'm going to try. Now, as if he targets it, I think we commit to getting this thing off the board this way, even if it's just a trade and we throw our Curse Catcher away. We're protecting our life total with the goal of hitting this. Okay, I understand. So yeah, we're going to get this thing off the board. Unless there's some mutagenic growth in his hand, I guess, but that sort of is what it is, and if that's the case, then we've at least burned several spells. Okay, yeah, fair enough. We're at 15, our life total's okay, he's got 2 cards in hand. We now have the land we need for that, so that's important. Gonna go with the Regery here. We see that he only has 2 mountains, so he's probably got gas. And I am tempted to want to Spreading Seas these, but I think this turn we just take what we take. I don't think it'll be 15, and then we get to play Master of Ways for a couple blockers. And while the tokens, it's not... well, he might just be going off. We'll see. Might not be a ton of blockers. The Master of Ways itself, having protection from red, is the important part. As long as he doesn't go off too hard here. Now, what their deck tries to do, it plays these. It plays the Blizzard Cool Weird. It might even play the name escapes me, but it's a red-blue 1-drop that can exile spells to give itself 2+1 counters. Exile spells from the stack. It just sorts of tries to go off. Although that may be the Kiln Fiend deck. That's 4 Swift Spears. Okay. Guess we have to block one. Alright. I mean, I think we're going to be okay. We got the Master. We get to untap our land for the Vapor Snag. I probably even get to attack with my Regery, because we have 3 blockers. 4th if you count this Vapor Snag play. And we made that what looked like an awkward trade earlier with the Harbinger and the Curse Catcher. But the important part is it protected our life total, and now we have a plan. And we're not in danger of getting burned out necessarily from 10 when we have all these blockers. Sure, that doesn't bother me. I may actually go for the double block on one of these to get it off the field, because we have the Vapor Snag. Let's see, so we'll block here to prevent it. Now we'll see, this is the one with double strike, right? Which just won't do anything against this guy. Alright, so we should be able to take 2 Swift Spheres off the field. I will probably just Vapor Snag this in the main phase, or in the damage. There's no point to take damage and die to triple bolt or something weird, so... I feel pretty good about where we're at this game. It'll take us a minute to kill him because we don't exactly have a giant attacking force, but alright, there's the mutagenic growth. So he wants this guy to survive. Sure. That's fine. We still have the kill on this, so he has no cards in hand. We'll snag this one, take 0, kill one of his guys for good. Now we'll start Spreading Seizing. I could Monastery Siege for the Dragons mode to protect from those bolts, but I think we just want to find creatures, so we just want to draw more cards here. Our opponent seems... I feel like we're in a good spot. It seems hard to lose here unless he... I actually don't know how we lose here. Okay, so we'll start with the free one. We can just untap this with our Regery. Get the Curse Catcher in. Spreading Seas that. Island. Okay, so given that I'm not actually scared of his board at all, I'm going to choose the cons mode so we can find some lords in the game. Don't really see... Yeah, I don't need... I mean, only thing he'd have is lightning bolts, so... May as well see 2 cards next turn, try to find the lord to win it, so... Alright, so 1 card in hand, 2 Swift Spheres, it was a land. Yep, sure. Doesn't even have an attack. Alright, so we get to see 2 cards. A Harbinger and a Master. I think I'll keep the Master. Alright, there we go. Game 1. against, I don't even know what you call that deck, I guess, Prowess.deck. I'm trying to think what we saw here. A lot of 1-mana spells, I guess, so we'll get this in here. We'll get this in here. We'll get the Tidebinders in here. Seems pretty good. Cut a Regery, it's very slow. Cut the Thasset, it's very slow. Cut the Siege, it's very slow. Probably cut maybe a Snag. Snag is pretty good. Dismember's better. Cut the Snag, that's fine. See how this one goes. We have to be on the draw again, so that's rough, but maybe we'll have an Aether Vial or something. This deck is very explosive. You know, we got there, but it was pretty close. I can't mulligan this hand, though this hand is not incredibly exciting against him. But we get to answer the first play for a moment with the Snag and then sort of curve out some Lords. That's a good draw. And we still have the, you know, hit a Master of Waves, probably win the game plan. Looks like our opponent mulliganed as well, right? Yeah. Oh, perfect. I say perfect. I mean, this is obviously very good for him, but we get to set him back the most with that Snag. There's our 4th land for Master of Waves. He could get out a little out of control there with the Pyromancer. We'll see. Start chaining together Manamorphose, things like that. Just spams the board with tokens. Interestingly, though, that's our plan as well. Honestly, we really set him back with that by snagging that Pyromancer. You know, LSV asked, "What is tempo?" And tempo is vapor snagging your opponent's Pyromancer because it buys us some time. It buys time at the cost of a card, but we're going to make better use of that time and mana. We traded our 1 mana for his 2 mana, and that allows us to get ahead on the board. And we'll, you know, deal with the fact that we're down a card. And that's fine. And he's got the weird. Let's see if he's got the bolt for our Lord. Sure. That's fine. I'm really glad he didn't have a Pyromancer in play when he got to do all that. Could Spreading Seas, would rather be mana efficient, play the Regery. Depending on how things go. This is actually really awkward. It untaps the Harbinger. Of course, we can Regery down if this thing survives and still have 4 mana to go Seas and Harbinger. Which builds us devotion for the Master, so we don't just have to turbo out the Master waves. Our life total has fared much better this game so far. No blocks. Hit me with your best shot. As long as it's not lethal. Alright, take 1. So he wants the surprise untap here, huh? So if I cast Harbinger targeting his guy, my Regery trigger will resolve first. He then gets to untap his guy to counter it. I don't think that there's a way... Excuse me. I don't think there's a way we actually get to bounce this. Although we make him burn a card, I guess. Let's go ahead and start with the Spreading Seas. We make him burn a card regardless, though. The Regery trigger doesn't matter, so we can untap our thing here and play an Aether Vial. Ooh. Awkward. This is great, except his guy would still get untap. Okay, we'll untap our island. We'll force him to burn it here. Unless he wants to, wow, he's just, I don't know what that means he has, but it means I get to attack now. Actually, I'm not sure what he's sitting on that would lead him to allow us to bounce it like that. He's getting set so far back on tempo. And we have a Haymaker in the works. Yeah, this is the thing that would cause us the most problems, is just going off with the Pyromancer. which he is not doing though. Alright, I'm probably just going to hold this in my hand. Guess there's no way in which it matters. We boarded out the siege. I guess this way we can play both creatures. So I guess we want to start with this one. Go ahead and do this. We will be targeting the young pyromancer, of course. And then I will get in with the Harbinger of the Tides. No need to get in with the Regery and risk any, mutagenic growth blowouts here. So the only benefit but we actually needed to do this to cast both, yeah. We won't have any cards in hand to show bluffs or anything, but it's alright. We will be spamming the board pretty rapidly. To the point where any lord off the top, any of these lords anyways, is just going to be very, very good. Alright, counter the Pyromancer, or tap the Pyromancer rather. Kind of counters it. Not really. Alright, it's a really big Master of Waves. May as well tap this guy down. We're not hiding anything here. We could play, the other option is to play the Master of Waves post-combat to untap one of our own guys with the Harbinger, or with the Regery trigger, but obviously we don't need to do that because of this. And even, all this, okay. I guess we're just worried about a sweeper right now. And if he went Young Pyromancer, Blister Coil Weird into a sweeper, more power to him. I played right into it, but I think it's more likely here that he's just going to try to make a bunch of tokens and run them into our tokens, and I don't know how well that's going to work out for him. I'm very curious what his hand might have been, that he saw 6 cards over there, but I'm pretty sure it's going to involve him trying to go off with Pyromancer this turn, chain a bunch of spells together for tokens. I mean, we have 14, 17, 20, 23. We have 25 power on the field, so he's going to need to make a lot of tokens to start. And then we just get to slam our elementals into them in something that, essentially costs us very little, but is probably costing him cards. Of course, it depends what his cards are, but we lose. We're in a worse spot, obviously, if his mono red deck, I guess now blue, has, some dismember or something for Master of Waves. But he does not, and we picked up the match.